They slid the envelope across the glass table like they were passing me crumbs. "Sign here," the HR rep said, her tone rehearsed. "We'll control the narrative." I didn't flinch, didn't argue. I just smiled, tucked the check into my jacket, and stood. Because in that moment, I already knew their narrative was dead. I built that company from silence. Long nights in a rented apartment. Code running on machines that overheated if I pushed too hard. I carried their infrastructure on my back before anyone believed in it. The executives found me once the product worked, once it had teeth. They called me indispensable then, bought me steak dinners, told me I was family. But family doesn't push you out the second your name starts carrying more weight than theirs. They thought I wouldn't see it. The sudden exclusion from meetings, the way my updates were quietly presented by someone else, the staged performance reviews. Subtle enough for deniability, obvious enough for insult. I watched them sharpen the knives for months. The betrayal wasn't in one moment, it was in the pattern. My documents were misplaced. My credit erased from projects I'd authored line by line. Conversations cut short when I entered the room. Then came the leak. An anonymous note slipped my way. A printout of emails, executives whispering about image management and narrative control. They weren't planning to let me resign gracefully. They wanted me scrubbed out, rewritten, made irrelevant. They thought I'd beg for scraps. They miscalculated. I don't play their game. I design my own. So I stopped fighting their little internal maneuvers. I let them think they'd already won. I archived everything. Every design document, every revision log, every message that proved the systems were my architecture. I secured my original commits with timestamps they couldn't erase. Quietly, I traced their shell companies and accounting tricks, because if you follow the money, you find the rot. And then I built something they couldn't anticipate: silence. I vanished from their radar, showed compliance, gave them nothing. I smiled when HR handed me my final check, but beneath the smile, I had already loaded the first round. Companies live and die not by truth, but by perception. They wanted to control the narrative? Fine. I'd give them one they couldn't spin. I drafted a clean, documented dossier. Technical evidence proving not just my authorship, but their mismanagement. Risk exposures, unpatched vulnerabilities, compliance failures. Everything the investors didn't know, but absolutely should. I timed the release. I knew their quarterly investor call was coming. And I knew one thing about powerful men in tailored suits: they fear silence more than anything. So the night before the call, while they slept secure in their illusions, I delivered packets of truth to every major investor on the roster. No commentary, no accusations, just raw, irrefutable facts, signed with my name. The next morning, I sat in my apartment with a cup of black coffee, the investor call streaming through my speakers. It began with the usual rehearsed optimism: strong quarter, robust growth, exciting opportunities ahead. The CEO's voice oiled with confidence. The VP chimed in, parroting statistics. Then, silence. 2 minutes. Long enough for blood to drain from faces, for nerves to fray. Finally, the chairman broke it. His voice was cold steel. "Can someone please explain," he asked, each word deliberate, "why our lead investors received detailed evidence of intellectual property theft, compliance breaches, and financial manipulation? Documents signed by the very man you forced out yesterday?" I could almost hear the oxygen leave the room. The CEO stammered. The VP choked on his scripted notes. HR wouldn't dare unmute. Their narrative collapsed in real time. They tried to scramble afterward, of course. Press releases, damage control, legal threats whispered through lawyers. But you can't rewrite code once it's executed, and you can't rewrite truth once it's in the hands of people with billions on the line. Investors don't forget betrayal, not when it costs them. Within a month, the CEO was retiring. The VP vanished from the org chart. HR went silent. And me? I didn't need to gloat. I didn't need headlines. I just needed that one moment, hearing the chairman's question cut through their arrogance like a blade. I wasn't erased. I was immortalized. They thought they could control the narrative, but I built the system, and the system remembers its architect.